This week's episode, we talk about enjoying life and not taking the little things for granted. So sit with us as we reach deep into the bag and find that extra fry. Let's go.
Yeah, so this week's episode, we're talking about things to be thankful for.
It's not even Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's not even Thankgiving. It's just, we kind of feel after the past few episodes, we kind of have to bring a little bit of light into it.
Let's do a happy topic.
Yes, a happy topic.
We'll get it to depressing before too long. Don't worry.
See, that's what I'm worried about is we might find a way to do it.
We usually do.
Yeah.
That, something that I'm really glad and I'm really surprised didn't happen in the last episode. Not a single mention of Star Wars.
Oh, are you kidding?
Not a single mention.
See, that's depressing right there.
Well, see, but there's...
Yes, I know that there's some things that we could allude to the last episode to some Star Wars things, but
I'm not going to say a single thing. I have a million jokes in my head right now. They're all staying locked deep away because this is a happy episode. And we are not going to talk about anything depressing on purpose.
On purpose? Okay.
Well, it's going to happen by accident, but we're going to try our best to keep it lighthearted.
yes.
So we did title the episode "Finding the Extra Fry
Finding
in the
Nemo?
Bag."
Like, are we finding Nemo?
No, we're finding the extra fry in the bag.
Yes.
So in the bag of life, the little pieces of joy. Because, you finish eating your fries and you open up the bag and there's a couple left.
Yes.
And you get excited.
But have you ever noticed, particularly the certain restaurant that we allude to,
6 homies.
There's always, we'll get to that one in a second.
Wait. We're getting to...
Yes,
okay.
We'll get to that one in a second.
All right.
But anytime you find that extra fry, it's never a regular size one.
No, it's the itty bitty little crispy one.
For you? For me, it's like one of the the biggest ones.
No, I agree with Jonathan. It's always long as heck.
Yeah. It's like the biggest one that they just couldn't fit in the
Yeah, because
carton.
it flopped out of the carton and then landed on the bottom of the bag.
But that is like the best fry ever.
Well, so, yes, it is, right? So what I think it is the way that we all know who we're talking about.
Yes.
Not 6 homies, but the other restaurant. The way they put their fries are very thin. So when they put them in the package, the long one has more weight to it, and so it falls out, is my theory.
It could be.
My theory.
Could be.
Or for the small fries that David's talking about, they have those little
they fit through the little crack
in
underneath
the bottom of the
Now, see,
holder.
those I don't like.
Oh, I love the crispy ones.
Well, I like the crispy ones, but I don't like when they're small enough to fit through the little opening because as you're pulling them out, they all fall out and then they're like everywhere.
On the floor.
And that's a fry wasted.
I want my extra fries in the bag, not on the floor.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, one of my favorite things ever is to go to another certain restaurant and you order fries and then there's like an onion ring that's stuck in the middle of the fries.
Yes.
To me, that is great because that is just like one
free
of those
onion ring.
Exactly.
That maybe we should have named the episode "Free Onion Ring" instead of "Extra Fry."
Well, so
we
here's my thing, is that concerns me.
Why?
Because I've worked in the food industry, and I know the onion rings and the fries are in 2 different subsections of the same thing.
Yeah.
So why are the onion rings in the fries?
Because they want to bring a little happiness to
No,
your life.
no, they don't.
No, it's cross contamination.
Yeah, it is. Well, maybe it's not cross contamination because they're all fried, but it's like
Your onion ring is contaminating my fries.
well, no, because it's not like meat. I don't think the same category applies. But it's the thing of some idiot I'm thankful for it, but I'm also concerned
You're
about.
thankful for some idiot?
Man, I'm thankful for a lot of idiots. Have you? I got you guys for my friends. I got other friends. I myself am an
idiots
idiot.
do give us a lot to talk about.
Well, right, because we're talking about the little things. We've all known someone in our life who is not the brightest. Okay, and even if they cause annoyance, the fry in the bag with them is the stories you get afterwards. So with dumb or annoying people or difficult people, they always have good stories that come from interacting with them. And so when you interact with them, story hunt. Just try and get good stories out of them.
Yes, I can see
You
it.
got to see the small things and appreciate them.
All the small things.
Yeah.
I like how Dave's just his
I know
job on this show today.
I know
is
it's a
just that
Blink-182.
those one little zingers. That's like all he's gonna do.
I know
the
it's a
entire
Blink-182 reference, but I'm not gonna justify it with a response.
show.
Which is funny because I was actually listening to Blink on the way here.
Oh goodness.
I like Blink-182. They are the fry in the bottom of the bag of my life. Well, not of my life, but of my car rides.
They're like the fries if they got left out for a while and then reheated in the microwave and then dumped in the bag.
Okay. I know the type of music you listen to, and you know the type of music I listen to, and it's very similar. We both like metal.
Blink isn't metal; they're pop punk.
I know. I'm getting there. And we also, and this is a little bit of a secret, we also both like pop music.
Yes.
And so when you put that together, you get Blink-182.
But Blink-182 is just one of those.
Well, I don't like most of their songs. I just like their popular ones. I'm a fake fan. I'm
The
willing
popular,
to.
yeah.
I'm willing to admit that.
Oh, goodness.
You know, but
I mean, there's nothing wrong with just liking the most popular songs of a given artist.
yeah, I like one song from Sum 41. Fat Lip. I don't know any others. I haven't looked into them that much, and I don't care to.
It's been so long since I've heard them. I couldn't even tell you.
Well, yeah, because they were like a fad.
Yeah.
Right. And that's no disrespect to them.
Well, they came out right around the same time as like Blink-182, Newfound Glory, Simple Plan.
Simple
And
Plan
so
is still killing it, though.
They all came out around the same time, and Sum 41 was just like one of those of like, hey, we're here and we're gone.
Yeah.
They okay. Sum 41 is the extra fry.
Because they go away so quickly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they pop up and you're like, sweet, and then they're gone and you miss them. Some people do. I mean,
do you miss your fries after you eat them? Like,
yeah, of course I do.
Depends
'cause
on
they're
the fry.
gone.
It depends on the fry. It also depends on how full I am.
I could always eat one more fry.
No, man.
Okay, depending on where they're from. So, since we're on the fries, and we'll actually get into the topic a little bit here, I'm gonna name off some restaurants. None of these are affiliated with us. And you tell me, rank their fries.
Oh, dude, no. This is gonna be. This might derail the episode.
We'll make this quick.
Okay, all right. Well, you guys better not be wrong because
right.
I'm very opinionated.
Well, first off, you got McDonald's.
They're number one?
No, well, I mean that's the first one.
Oh, okay.
So
sorry, I'm already
rank
angry. You haven't even listed them.
No, rank them.
You just gave me one.
Give me a ranking for it.
Out of what?
10.
Out of
1 to 10.
Out of 10?
Yes.
3.
Okay.
I'd go a little higher, maybe 5.
Yeah, I would go 5. All right. Burger King.
Yeah, that would be
5.
like a 2 for me.
5.
2 for me.
5.
2 to 3. Because sometimes they're
if
okay.
you smother them in ketchup, they're good.
And see, I don't like their ketchup.
See, I don't think ketchup belongs with fries. I think ranch does.
Ooh, that's just gross.
I could go either way on that one.
Okay. Wendy's.
Yeah.
Wendy's is a 4.
0.
Wendy's, I would switch it. I would put McDonald's at 4 and Wendy's at 3. I'm going to do that.
Okay.
So Wendy's is pretty good. Their fries are very underrated. They have the sea salt. They're thick and crispy and good.
Yes. See, that's the one thing I like about them. So I'll give them a 5 because I like that.
No, I feel like they're more or less tasteless. And I remember, I don't know, 5, 6, 8 years ago, they kept releasing these different fries with different sauces and toppings on them.
Mm-hmm.
And it dawned on me in that day, like, their fries are so unsellable that the only way they're good is if you smother them in cheese sauce or something.
No, they're so good you get to smother them in cheese sauce. Also, I'm going to go to Wendy's after we're done recording this.
See, I think a good fry you can eat with absolutely nothing.
I agree.
I could do that with Wendy's fries.
I can't do that with Wendy's fries.
It's harder for me to do that with McDonald's fries, but McDonald's fries taste so good with McDonald's ranch that
Yeah,
so
see,
good.
I don't like ranch.
See, I like McDonald's fries just with salt. Extra salt.
No.
Give me the salt.
I give Wendy's a 5 just because the only way that I can really eat them is with a Frosty.
Mm.
The fries and the Frosty.
I always get a brain freeze
elevate that.
when I do that. When I eat a Frosty normally, I'm good. Second I introduce fries, my body's like, nope.
I actually still haven't tried this. I've heard about other people doing this.
It's so good, especially if you get like a hot, like fresh set of fries.
Yeah.
And that it's like that you get that heat and then the little bit of the cold from the ice cream. Oh, it's really good.
Yeah, you can't do you have to have good teeth to do that.
You're not supposed to eat it with your teeth.
You eat the fry with your teeth.
Well, yeah, you put it in your mouth, you let the ice cream run down your throat, and then you eat the fry.
Yeah.
Okay.
In any case, Wendy's needs to bring back the ghost pepper fries. I miss them so much.
Ooh, yes, yeah, I heard those were pretty good. I never tried
I don't
them,
mess with
but-
that hot stuff.
Okay.
I used to go to Wendy's and just get a couple orders of that.
All right. What about Arby's?
Number 1. Arby's has the best fries.
Higher on the tier. Well, depends on the fries. Are you talking the home style fries? Or
The curly fry. They only have one fry as far as I'm concerned. It's the curly fry.
They have more than one fry.
Yeah, that's blasphemy, and you know it. Okay, I'm not gonna sit here and take this. Okay, Arby's has one fry. It's the curly fry, and you dip it in their cheese sauce.
The curly fries are pretty top tier. I don't know if I'd go all the
Yes.
way to 10, but probably 7 or 8.
Well, wait. So stop. I think I've totally misunderstood
You probably did.
the way we're rating this.
You probably did.
Are you saying rate each one individually on a scale of 1 to
10?
Okay, yeah, then 10. I'm
Okay.
so mad. I thought we were like, this one's the best of the 10.
Do I need to go back for you?
No, most of them are like hovering around at 8 then. Because fries are just good.
Okay.
Okay, fries are just good.
Yeah, I'll give Arby's an 8.
Arby's getting a 10. Arby's with cheese sauce.
All right, Chick-fil-A.
Dude, 6.
Those are technically
They're
not fries because they're waffle
so
fries.
overrated.
Waffle fries.
They're so
It's a
overrated.
10 for me.
They're so overrated.
I wouldn't give them a 10. They don't have they're good, but they don't have enough flavor, so I'd probably put them just below Arby's at 7.
Okay. All right. So at least we have an idea.
Put Arby's at 7.
You guys are wrong. And
No. The Chick-fil-A
Fries
is
are
below
awesome.
Arby's at 7, which means Arby's is at 8.
Okay, cool.
Get it now?
Yeah. Well, no, because that's what I was doing, and you guys said that was wrong.
no.
Right, but I was using Arby's as the reference
Oh,
point.
okay, yeah, never mind.
I wasn't saying
Arby's is at
Becau-
position 8.
No,
okay.
yeah.
I
On
would-
a
yeah.
scale of 1 to 10,
Yeah.
where would you
Okay.
put them?
I would put Chick-fil-A below Arby's. That doesn't mean it.
Okay, let's keep going.
I'm
It
using
means
Arby's
he
as
likes
the reference
Arby's.
point.
He likes
I know
Arby's
that.
more than he
Just
likes
a little bit more than
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A. Yes.
All right.
Much more.
I think we're just about out of them.
Hashtag
than,
not sponsored.
like generic ones. I mean, you got 5 guys,
You mean
You mean 6 homies?
6 homies,
You mean
6 dudes.
how they give you like the entire bag full of fries?
Yes,
On
I
presentation,
like their Cajun fries.
their
They-
Cajun fries are good.
On presentation alone, they get a 9. Just because you get a small and a small. Small's a large.
Mhm.
Get a small, you get more than you get in the thing in the bag. Okay?
You get a small, and you get half a bag.
Yeah.
You get a large, you get a bag and a half. Basically, I mean,
insane.
it's just
It's insane.
it's crazy. Their fries, like
I need to go get some of their fries after this.
I've gone in there.
They're just too expensive.
They are.
I think their fries are a little too droopy for my liking. I like them.
There's so much grease that's on them.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like because when they dump it in the bag, like you can just watch the grease just like flow through the bag.
Well, that's what
as
makes them
it's-
good.
So the one thing I will say that we're all forgetting here, and I'm not a big fan of this restaurant, but Checkers fries are so good.
I'm not a big
I
fan
think
of
they're-
Checkers
I'm not either, but their fries are phenomenal.
I would consider their seasoned fries essentially the same as Arby's curly fries.
No, I think Arby's is better, but I think Checkers is really good.
Eh.
Then again, the novelty of the curly fries is definitely at play there. So
Now I want curly fries.
we can take care of that.
So yeah, we've all decided that fries are just awesome.
I think we all just settled on the fact that Arby's is the best.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Mm.
Of all the ones you just listed, dude.
See, for me, Chick-fil-A is the best.
I don't believe.
But I'm biased with Chick-fil-A
I-
because I like Chick-fil-A. Like I like Chick-fil-A better than I like most other restaurants.
I like Chick-fil-A too.
It's the Lord's chicken.
Yeah, it is. But wait, did you see that left to right or right to left? Okay, left to right. Good job. You're a Latin, not a evil Greek Orthodox who crossed themselves
okay.
wrongly. No, I love the Greek Orthodox. I'm just teasing.
But moving on into the topic here, because it's like we talk about fries, and there's something about them. Like, you can get a burger from McDonald's or Burger King, and it's but something about those fries just makes it just a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
And and that's kind of what we're wanting to talk about, some of just like sometimes like just the small things in life just make it so much better.
Yeah.
No, don't start singing. Every time we say that, just the look on Dave's face is just, he wants to burst out into song.
I think Dave wants to burst out in song most of the time, but he just restrains himself.
He does.
He
does. I mean, except for at work. A lot of times at work, he's
like literally
jamming around.
I know. Literally in my head right now, I'm thinking of songs I haven't heard, but I've only heard parts sung by Dave.
Yep.
And they're like looped in my head.
Yep.
There's a song from Cats, the musical, that I've never heard.
Wait,
but Dave,
I don't remember singing a song
Dave has
from
sung
Cats.
this so many times that it's the Rum Tum Tugger is a Curious Cat.
Oh yeah.
And he would sing that all the time for like a month. And hey, no shade. Now it's just part of me, and I can't get it out, and I really want to.
But it's something.
But I only hear it in Dave's voice.
That's the thing.
I can sing another Andrew Lloyd Webber.
No,
musical.
don't, because he's catchy.
he is. It was red and yellow and green and you guys don't know that
No,
one.
so but we're talking about the little things. I appreciate that Dave loves musicals and that he shares that love with the people around him. That made my days at work better.
Yeah.
It really did. It brought brevity to the stress of the work environment, right? And also, and I wasn't, let me make this clear. I do love that, and I wasn't laughing at you. But sometimes I would be dealing with like annoying paperwork, and I just hear in the background Dave singing, and I just feel like, oh my gosh, thank you, Dave.
And
so I cherish you for that, Dave. I do.
Oh, but yeah, it is those little things that it's like you don't even think about most of the time when they're happening. It's like as you go later on, during the day or in your life, like you said, you sit there and it's like it kind of pops in your head that this is just something you remember, and so it's something that just kind of like it makes you, joyful or whatever. But even more than that, it's like just the things that like something that we do or have happened to us that we don't think about. Like for me, my greatest joy and it is like if somebody was to walk up and just set a drink right down in front of me. Like to me, that is like the highlight of my day for whatever reason, because it shows this like, okay, somebody thought about me long enough to even just consider like, I'll get him something, or whatever. It's like, it's something small like that I'm just like, it makes me happy.
Yeah.
Those types of things. And it is the little things. I'm not going to say the other one anymore.
Yeah.
But it's like a couple of the things that we want to talk about here, and I want to get your guys' opinion on it, is, how do we tell the difference? Okay. We got these little things that come along, in our life. And there's a book that was out a long time ago. I had it for a little while and I have no idea what happened to it, but it was called, God Wink. And what it was, it was a book of stories of like, it was like 10 different stories of individuals that they were going through their life, and like something would happen that would kind of deter their day. And, what they thought was like, just a bad a bad deal, and it turned out to be better, for them. Like, one that I remember was a lady got there. Are you okay? Noah's getting a little choked up here.
Literally.
It was the water went down the wrong pipe.
Wow.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
But one of the stories that I remember was a lady was getting ready to go on a plane, and something happened where she got sick. Like, she got sick like right before boarding, and so because of that, they wouldn't let her board because she's like throwing up everywhere. So they're not going to put her on a plane.
Yeah.
And so she was like, well, crap, my my flight, I can't make my flight, can't make the trip, everything's going to go bad, blah, blah, blah. And so, a little bit later, she ends up like getting a bus ticket because I was like, the bus was just like, yeah, we're, going here. It's going to be a little bit longer, but we'll be able to fit you on. So she gets on the bus and she sits down next to somebody, and that somebody ends up being like a long lost friend that she hasn't seen in like 10 years. And, they start talking and catching up, and it turns out that, they're both moving to the same city. They both like, they both just started, like a job around the same area, that type of thing. And it was just one of those things like, something that seemed like it was going to be a bad deal ended up being for the better for them because they both end up knowing each other. They grew their friendship, this type of thing. And so that's the type of stuff that I like to talk about. But what I want to know, like, between you guys is like, how do we tell the difference between what is considered luck and God's blessing?
Yeah, well, so the first thing I'll say is, if you don't think that there is a God, then nothing can be God's blessing, right? You're going to view life as ordered, but so luck implies like chance, right? So you're going to view things are ordered by random biological occasion, right? So things happen because A hits B, and then A hitting B causes C, right? And in a sense, for a theist, that's also very much true. But it's kind of reading between the lines and seeing the purpose in that a theist can do, and maybe an atheist couldn't. Because even for a non-Christian, someone who believes in a higher power, a God, they're going to view creation around them as ordered and functioning either by permission or by direct cause of that deity. And so all the little things is, if you're an atheist, you can still be thankful for things, but the absolute end of the thing is not ordered for a particular purpose. It doesn't have grounding for its purpose in the same way. And if you're a theist, well, every little thing you could be thankful for, because every small thing is ordered towards either glorifying the God that you worship or believe in, or it's there for your benefit or for your learning or your formation. And so yeah, I think even Christians and theists struggle to be thankful for things, but we have greater reason so that we ought to be thankful for things. So yeah, that's my answer.
Okay. But like, again, it's just, whether we consider it luck or, some people just say, it's like, oh, it's my lucky day to, to open up like a pack of chicken nuggets. And I know we're talking about food. Man. I'm hungry. I haven't eaten today. So, it's like we open up a pack of chicken nuggets and you expect 10 and you get 11. It's like, hey, it's my lucky day. The guy can't count. But I mean, it's like I've learned not to take the little things for granted.
Yeah.
And, stuff like that. Like, some people just look at it and be like, oh, cool. But then, it's like I look at it and I'm like, dude, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Like that type of thing. It's like I know we put it on our bio on the website, but my favorite thing, and I'm kind of sad because they stopped doing it. My favorite thing was one of the McDonald's that's like right there by our work. On Thursdays, they did the 10-piece nugget meal for $6.
Mm.
And that was like the greatest thing because I mean, it's just, it's that little bit of a break type thing that, we all need sometimes. But not even just that, not even just like food or anything like that. But I'm talking like, let's get into something here. Like, what are some things that you guys have had happen, in your life that you look back on it now and you'd be like, okay, that was, a major blessing, even if it's just small, that type of thing.
Yeah. This might sound like a weird one. I really like trees. Okay. So
I like trees.
I do like trees. But it's like I love appreciating the beauty in small things.
Mhm.
Not just in nature, but in people too. Like the small things in people that the let me put it this way. Have you ever been talking with somebody and then they say something and you pause and you're like, "Oh, that's why I love this person." You know, that type of stuff. But specifically back with the trees, it's because if you I've always thought about this, but if you look at how complex a tree is, like just a tree, like how insanely complex that is, and then how beautiful it is, um, I'm just enamored by it. Same way with clouds. I'm enamored by clouds and how big they are, and just the scope of that stuff. And I'm thankful for it because we spend a lot of time inside nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
And so even though I don't get outside as much as I ought to or would like to, I love being able to enjoy the outdoors and just the beauty of it all.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thankful for Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, maybe I shouldn't have said that. I'm thankful for the Midwest place redacted. But I'm thankful for where we live. I'm thankful for the fact that it's beautiful. And so I guess the small fry in the bag is every leaf on a tree. That's how I'll put it. So
Okay.
it's not that deep. I just like trees. Probably because I'm autistic or something. I don't know. We'll see.
All right, Dave.
Pass.
Dave likes the fact he's thankful for the fact he can pass.
Yes,
And
that is the
that he
small
won't be
thing.
pressured.
I own the recording equipment. It's my rules are,
Again, I'm thankful for a lot of like the little things that just happen. You know, being able to even, right now just spend a little bit of time with my daughter,
Mm-hmm.
just like little moments here and there, are always a joy to me because it's like, it's something that you tend to take for granted.
Sure.
You know, one of the things me and my daughter used to always do, we do sometimes still, is we'd walk down to the gas station. It'd be like 11 o'clock at night, and she's like, I just want to drink. I'm like, all right, cool, let's walk. So we'd walk down to the gas station, and it's like a lot of times she'd be riding her bike and she would just take off in front of me, but it was just that time of just being, with her, that type of thing that just like made me something, made me really thankful for. As far as like small things go, like, something that's just small that's happened recently was I was dealing with some stuff and couldn't really, like, I don't want to get really into it, but I was like just dealing with some stuff personally and financially, trying to figure out some stuff to even do, trying to figure out what's going to happen. And a friend of mine that I had talked to, for a while, hadn't really talked to her in a while, for a couple months, she just like out of the blue sends me $20. And I was like, that was exactly what I needed, to handle the situation that I was in at the moment. I was like, dude, you have no idea, how grateful I am for this. And she's like, yeah. It's like, I was just thinking about you and just figured you could use it. And it's like she knew nothing about the situation. She knew nothing about what I was going through at the time. So it was just like one of those like small things that some people look at and they're like, oh, sweet, $20, and they just go move on with their day. But yeah, for me, like I said, it's that little bit of just I was thinking about you type thing that really kind of hits hard, for me, because we live in this society where it's like, yeah, people just don't think about anything but themselves.
Yeah, it's I like that the story you told about your daughter, because my growing up, my dad did the same thing. We had a gas station by our house, and we'd always walk there. And I don't remember a single word spoken in any of those conversations, but I remember his presence. Right. A lot of people don't have dads that are present. And even though my memory of my childhood isn't great, he was always there, right? Like he was always around. And so I'm very thankful for him and my mother, and just them just being there, right? Sometimes, and like, I'm not a parent, but I know from talks with my older brother and from my dad, now that I'm older and he's older, we talk on a deeper level. And, just from conversations with him, he's like, yo, as a parent, you always feel like you're messing up, always. And, for the most part, I look back on some of his quote unquote mistakes. I think it was just me being immature and not seeing things. For the most part, I grew up and I saw how, why things happened the way they happened. And that's not the case for everything, but that's the case for most of it. And I think I'm just thankful for hindsight, the ability to look back at life and have perspective, and when we're really young, and this is going to continue because I'm a little bit younger than you guys. You guys have more of a perspective on this, because you can probably think back of times where you were my age and you're like, oh, I had no idea what I was doing, right? But I feel that way for my even younger self, my high school self, and I hope to feel that way when I'm 30, because then that shows some maturity. And so I'm just thankful for the fact that we can look back on our past selves and see progress.
So we talk about these little things, and something that I'm curious about, and it's like, can you think of something that's small that has turned into something big later down the road? Like I said, for kind of given into the story just a little bit, that I had given before, it's like the lady that missed the flight because she was sick. Now, granted, that's not a small thing. I mean, that's something big, because she missed a flight, but she was able to connect with somebody later on that ended up sparking a lifelong friendship that ended up developing into something that was more than she could have ever imagined. So I'm curious, like, can you guys think of anything that's like I said, something that's small, or something that's happened in your life that's made like a big impact on you later on?
This might sound silly, but inside jokes. So like, what I mean by that is, early on in many of the friendships I've had, not all but many, somebody will say something stupid, and then the collective group of friends will remember the stupid saying and then repeat it, and then it becomes almost this like pattern in the way of speaking that group of people has. And then that ends up being kind of a web of jokes that those people all have, and it affects how they interact with one another, but it affects how they view comedy and social interaction, and all that develops from just these small different interactions of developing jokes and inside jokes with your friends just in the moment. And my humor also not just my humor, but how I talk is even impacted by how we joke around on this podcast, right? Like, we have certain senses of humor, and we have places where those work and places where they rub up against each other, right? Sometimes our sarcasm isn't in the same style, right? But the way that just throughout time, throughout my life with my friends, the way we've joked together, um, it just brings up this whole memory of just enjoying people, you know? Um, so yeah, I would say a little thing that has become a big thing
Mhm.
is comedy. Just enjoying and laughing with the people around you. So this small joke becomes almost the bedrock of an entire relationship.
Hmm.
So
Okay. Yeah, I've kind of given just a little bit of things like I said, I kind of falls right into what I had mentioned about the friend that just kind of randomly gave a little bit of money. Like I said, it was able to help in a very big way.
mhm.
And there's just again, I have a hard time like really just picking them out because of to me even the small things are big things.
Sure,
Because
yeah.
I mean, we can keep saying that it's like all day long. It's just until you really just grasp it. They always tell you. You always hear the saying like "stop and smell the roses" or
Mhm.
stuff like that. Take a breath, and it's like you realize like sometimes that's exactly what you need, and it's something that people take for granted. We take being outside, we take leaves for granted.
Darn right you do.
You know, it's like you only really think about
So
it.
it's take it or leave it.
Yep.
Yes.
That's a good one. It's going in the vault.
Yep. See, now he's gonna be thinking
Now I'm
about that.
thankful for that. I'm thankful for that joke, Dave.
But
You are the fry at the bottom of my bag, man.
but it's those, it is those little things like when you really stop and you think about it and you think about you know, when you don't take things for granted, that's where you really start to find the joy in life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, people always say it's like, yeah, if I had just a little more money or if I had a little bit more, a little better looks, if I was a little bit taller, blah, blah, blah. But then it's like, I look at it and I'm like, shoot, I can fit on an airplane perfectly. It's like, I don't have to duck or anything like that. It's like, or,
I
it's
got
like,
plenty of leg room.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, or, it's like I look at it and I'm like, okay, I'm not financially set at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there have been a few bills that have gone unpaid that, it's like you work your way back up for it. But something that I'm hoping that my daughter will realize is that she has never once gone without.
Mm.
Like always making sure that she's taken care of.
Sure.
That's something that I could think of. It's like growing up, like, yeah, my family was never financially, we were stable. We weren't well off or anything like that. But I can never think of a time that we missed a meal
Mm-hmm.
or that, we didn't have a car to go somewhere. It's like we always got what we needed. May not have been all what we wanted, but we got exactly what we needed to help us get to that next point in our life. And that's something I'll never, take for granted.
Yeah, I think one of the things that impedes appreciating small things is ego.
Hmm.
I think we are so concerned with ourselves and what we deem as being the big thing.
Mhm.
And we kind of get into this state where we're just so focused on ourselves, we don't see the things around us, and it's the things around you that are outside of you that are going to bring you, I think, happiness in many cases.
Mhm.
And so we kind of live in our heads, and when we do that too much, we in our selfishness we don't appreciate the small things, and it really it's one of those things where you know, as arrogant people, I think all people are somewhat arrogant and somewhat selfish.
Mhm.
Even people who are more humble than most have that issue. Um, but as self-centered people, we don't see those small things. We're clouded by our own internal thoughts in some ways. To where we don't appreciate it. Um, so the other thing I will say is when we find the things that we don't like about ourselves, we need to be thankful that we have the ability in many cases to change those things.
Mm.
So, one of the small things is that we should be thankful for is not everything we don't like about ourselves must be permanent.
Mhm.
If you're not good at talking to women, go talk to more women. Is it hard? Yes, but you be thankful you have the ability to try and get better at that. If you aren't good at reading, well, read more, and then maybe you'll get better. Or a number of other things. If you're not a good drawer, or whatever.
Mhm.
But we should be thankful for the fact that we have the ability to change some of those things. So there's a sense in which we need to appreciate where we are, and yet we also need to appreciate the fact that we can be more than we are. So
Okay. I want to take this kind of the opposite way, and this may be where we start to get like
dark.
the dark, part of it.
I've just been itching.
But taking this the other way, and we look at the good things in life. Okay, what about the bad things? Sometimes you got those little bitty bad things.
This is a happy episode, Jonathan. There are no bad things. Everything's fine.
But
everything is awesome.
Under the Empire, everything's fine.
And
there's
Star Wars.
If you disagree, you won't be able to. Let's just put it that way.
I think we're all thankful for Star Wars.
Yeah, thank God for Star Wars, man. Oh, are you serious? You really want to? No. When I say Star Wars, I mean the good stuff. I mean like Episode 3, the best Star Wars movie ever. And
That Rise of Skywalker was the best.
No, you don't. That's not even your opinion. You're just saying this to hurt me. Okay? So you want to talk about the little things that upset me? It's that. It's when my friends say things to hurt me because they're jerks.
Oh, I haven't even seen the Rise of Skywalker.
That's the third one?
That's like the last one.
It's the third one of
the
the
third one
trilogy.
of the sequels, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was
It's episode 9.
episode
Yeah,
9.
9.
Yeah. That
But-
was the
Also known as the Emperor's New Groove.
No. Okay, I didn't like the fact that they threw the Emperor in there last minute, but the rest of that movie was the best of the three of the sequel.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Yet.
It had flaws. They all had flaws, but I don't know. It's kind of the thing. People are always like, "Oh, the new Star Wars movies are trying to be like Marvel." No, the Marvel movies are trying to be like Star Wars. Because if you look at how the original Star Wars was, it was serious, and yet it had comic relief mixed in also.
Yeah, it's all just being generic nowadays.
Yeah, it's all just generic.
All of it is.
Everything sucks.
And we're talking about finding the happiness in details. For me, I think one of the best thing that's actually kind of going on, I hope, is this writer's strike that's been happening in Hollywood. And the reason why is because now they're either gonna have to pay these guys more, and they've already put a stipulation on it that if they do pay them more, they have to come up with more original content, or they start hiring new writers with better ideas.
Yeah.
Because nowadays we are so into the, again, we're in the ninth Star Wars movie, not to mention the shootout, the spinoffs for, was it Rogue One and Solo?
Yes, but people actually want more Star Wars.
They do.
Well,
but they want it done
They don't
well.
want a third remake of Beauty and the Beast. They want more Star Wars.
No, but see, and that's the thing is
Doing a
like
third.
No.
Oh, thank God.
No, but they did make a new Snow White, which is tanking miserably.
Well, yeah, isn't it like
It has nothing to do with Snow White.
there's no dwarves?
Yeah,
They just like it's just like, and there's nothing wrong with this, but there's different minorities in it.
yeah. They call them the 7 magical creatures.
7 magical creatures.
Yeah,
Doesn't
That
have the
guy's
same
not
ring to it.
magical.
no, and yeah. So far, it is just tanked. Like everybody's gone against it. Same thing with the
Like, if you're going to make a different movie, give it a different title.
Exactly. Same thing with like the newest Little Mermaid. A lot of people try to praise it, and yeah, I mean, I still haven't seen it yet, and I probably won't, because I didn't like the original
So
Little Mermaid. But
here's what I'll say about the new movie. It's great. It's actually well done. The music's fine. The effects are great. It's paced well. The only thing is, and I'm The only thing is, it's not the Little Mermaid.
Mhm.
The little so this is it gets into a cultural thing. Cultures are allowed to have stories for those cultures and for those people.
Yeah.
So for example, Lord of the Rings. This might upset some people. Lord of the Rings was written by J.R.R. Tolkien to continue the fantastical lore of the Anglo-Saxon people.
Mhm.
Anglo-Saxon people cannot be anything but Anglo-Saxon. They can't even be French. They can't even be German.
Mhm.
They're Anglo-Saxon. You look at the artwork in Lord of the Rings. It's not German. It's not French. It's not Swiss. It's Anglo-Saxon. Okay, so there's High Anglo-Saxon with Gondor, and then there's more 11th century Anglo-Saxon with Rohan, and then the elves are doing their own thing. But so when you had the Rings of Power come in, and they put non-Anglo-Saxon people in there, that's ripping away the authorial intent. You can have a fantasy story with whoever you want, but if somebody made a book for a certain culture, it doesn't mean you can't appreciate it, but it in another culture, but it does mean you can't infuse other cultures into it.
Mhm.
You wouldn't take Black Panther and make it about two skinheads. Okay, it doesn't make any sense.
It'd be a very
It doesn't make any sense.
interesting-
And because why? Because the point of Wakanda is to celebrate successful African monarchs,
Right.
right? And so then you look at Lord of the Rings or Little Mermaid, it's the same thing, okay? You can have whatever characters and whatever story you want, but it's just not being honest to the source material.
Mhm.
And if you don't like the source material for that reason, make a new story.
Now, to be fair, Disney isn't exactly honest to the source material to begin with.
No.
Like, weren't these Brothers Grimm tales, and they had way darker endings?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that's
So
fine. But I'm
yeah.
talking about the cultural significance of it, not the rating of it. I'd be fine with Disney making the original version.
Ooh. An original Cinderella.
the original.
That would be awesome.
Yeah,
But see, that's the thing is we talk about this, and like it's not a little thing because while these people are on strike, we're getting the worst of the worst of some of these movies that have just been shelved, and they're running out of ideas, so they're throwing these things out there. But a lot of them they're like the exact same story, just told different. And that's something that I don't like. Like it bothers me when you go to, you go on Netflix or Hulu or, Freevee or anything like that, and you start looking up a movie and there's 5 different movies of the same title that are almost the exact same movie, that it's just like, come on. I mean, you got to come up with something
it's
a little
the dollar
bit better.
store version of the original.
Yeah.
that's how Hallmark makes all their money.
Oh. Well, Hallmark, it's the exact same story.
Yeah, they have like 5 different story concepts and interchangeable actors, and they just keep cranking out the same movie.
The saddest thing is like I'll be at my house, and my mom is a mom, so she watches Hallmark movies. And I'll be at my house, and I'll look, and I'll be like, wait a minute, that's an actor from a show I watched. That's a good actor. Why are they in a Hallmark movie?
Yep.
You deserve better. Actor that I liked from that one show.
Yep. And and now some of them, some actors and actresses, they get their start from these little movies, these bad ones. But again, it's like I can't even say like good movies. I mean, a lot of them are pretty bad. It's funny because we're talking about this, and I think it needs to happen as far as like the writer's strike, because of the fact we're running out of ideas. I mean, for crying out loud, the Fast and the Furious just launched a car into space in one of their last movies.
So cool.
Like they're out of ideas, and I love the Fast and Furious franchise.
What kind of weirdo would launch a car into space?
Well, the same one who bought Twitter. We want to talk about that one too.
There should be a movie about that.
No, just let him do what he wants. Just let him do it.
Yeah,
he's cool.
But it's like these little things that it's just sometimes needs to happen in order to make life better. you know, again, whether or not they're good or they're bad,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you can take it one way or another. You know, I've had those situations where I, you know, had to, like, I was getting ready to walk out of work and would get called back in for some stupid thing, you know, oh, you forgot to turn your computer off or whatever. You take those few extra seconds, go turn your computer off, you come back, and it's like you start driving on the road and there's a huge wreck. And you're like, whoa, crap. I would have been right in the middle of that if I would have left at the time that I was leaving.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like those minor inconveniences that sometimes tend to work out better, you know, for your better. You know, it's like, and to me, you know, even taking it into a Christian standpoint, to me, I see that as a blessing from God because of the fact of he was watching out for me, even when I didn't think he was. You know, I didn't really think about it at the time. It turned out that God was doing that for my favor, you know, for my benefit, to keep me safe.
Yeah.
You know, those types of things like that are really something that a lot of people, I think, again, they just tend to take for granted. And they're just like, they don't think about, it's like, okay, I would have been right in the middle of this 5-car pile up if I would have left when I did. All they're thinking about is I had to walk back to my stupid desk, turn off my stupid computer, you know, because this is just stupid and stupid life and things like that. You know, that's the type of thing to me that does not need to go ignored.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of again, because you know, and especially me and Noah, we talk about this a lot as far as, you know, from a Christian standpoint, and things like that. And I do want to kind of take this into the Christian standpoint just for a moment. You know, for all three of us here, do we count, like, is it okay for us to take everything that happens as a blessing from God or just a luck of the moment type deal sometimes?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think everything. I think everything because God by nature is that which sustains and upholds reality. He is not just like we have this. We have a Family Guy caricature of God in pop culture, and it's just dumb.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, God is just this old dude who doesn't want me to make $1 million. It's like, no, okay, no, he is that which is. He is perfect essence, not composed of other small parts like we are, and he upholds the whole universe by his very being. And if he wanted to, he could shatter it with a thought.
Mm-hmm.
And so every day that we're alive is a blessing. And even in the hard things in life that God permits to happen, like what you were talking about, like, oh, I got to go turn this computer off, but you're safe from this car crash.
Mm.
The bad is worked out for the good. And that's hard to believe, especially when we get into the dark parts of humanity.
Mm-hmm.
But the evil is permitted in the end for some good to come out of it, even if it's not obvious.
No.
And so, yeah. So from a personal and theological standpoint, I would agree with you.
I would argue that God has better things to worry about than whether or not you get an onion ring in your bag of fries.
Yeah, well, so I think the way that God governs small things is in a different sense, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And this is from a human perspective. So the way that willing works is a little different. So for example, I would say I have more freedom of the will in how I pick something up than in how I love someone.
Mm-hmm.
For example, because loving someone, having the grace to love someone well, is a gift from God, right? Now, me having the physical ability to pick something up is also a gift from God, but it's in two very different senses. I have, in a sense, more freedom in the small things, and I need more assistance from God in the big things.
Mm-hmm.
And I even though me and Jonathan have some theological differences in how free will works out, I think we can both agree on that. There is more freedom in the mundane, and that we need God's help more in the difficult things. And so from God's perspective, this is a bad way of speaking because God doesn't exercise effort in the same way we do. But you could say there is more intention in the big things than there is in the small things. I think that's a good way of putting it.
Okay. Yeah, I thinking, and it is bad because like what you mentioned, like we do have that little caricature of the way that God is, in pop culture. And it's like when it comes to some of the small things, like, yeah, I don't think God is sitting there directing this little onion ring to fall into your your fries. But like for me, I almost see it as God gives you the things you need when you need it the most, even the small, like the little things, like, you're going through, because it's just my opinion, because I look at it in the sense of, okay, as like I'm having a bad day, it's like for example, quite a few months ago, I was having just a really bad time. It's like a really, really bad time. And I went to take my lunch and I got pulled over for not wearing my seatbelt. And I was so upset because, of the situation that I was going through, and, the fact that I got pulled over and the cop came up and he's like, hey, just pulled you over because you're not wearing your seatbelt. And it's like, I'm sorry, it's like, I just have a lot on my mind, and kind of, almost kind of like laid into him what was going on, but, kind of kept it the best that I could. And, he's like, all right, it's like, I'm not even gonna give you a warning, anything like that. Just put your seatbelt on, make sure that you that you wear it at all times. I'm like, sweet, okay, that's fine. So pulled into McDonald's because that's where I was going anyway. And again, it's like I'm just having this hard, difficult moment, and literally order the chicken nugget meal, which is like the only thing I really order from McDonald's anyway. And I kid you not, there were 11 nuggets in the box, and it was just like one of those things where it was like, at the time, it's like I'm just really having this hard time. And I didn't think about it until I got to the point where I started eating what should have been my 10th one. And I'm like, there was an extra one. And it was just like, it was just one of those moments where it was like, during that hardest time, it's almost to me like I could just see God just being like, okay, you're good, and it's like, this will help you some. And that's what I really think about it. It's like, even in the bad, the little bad moments or anything like that, it's God's way of just helping you have just a little bit better faith. Because like you look into it, like in the Bible, in Matthew, it talks about Jesus sitting with, the 5,000. Now, for preference here, a lot of people, they read that story and they're like, okay, there's 5,000 people. No, there were 5,000 men, not including their wives and their children. So, it doesn't really specify exactly how many people were there. And God takes this little lunch that a boy had, these, 2 fish and like 5 loaves of bread. And wait, was that right?
Sounds good.
I think it was 2 fish and 3 loaves, so it was 5 till. Don't quote me on that. I could be remembering it wrong too.
I'm having a hard time, like, at this moment, just because we're sitting here talking, and it's
an
like
insignificant number of fish and loaves.
Yes, compared to all of these people, and they, Jesus spreads it out, and it feeds every single one of them. Now, here's the incredible thing about it is the disciples were supposed to take a basket and put all of their remains in the basket. And like a little bit later into the story, the disciples are starting to like kind of have a little bit of doubt, about God, about their faith and things like that. Some of them are even getting hungry, and Jesus turns to them and is like, okay, I just fed, and it's paraphrasing, obviously. Jesus is like, I just fed all of these people with such a small amount. How many baskets full did you guys bring back? And there were 12 of them, one for each one of the disciples. And it was just like, to me, it's like you read that and you're like, okay, how could these guys not notice this? But, it's like, then you think about it in real life, and there are times where we go through and we don't think about some of these things, because we just figure they're just insignificant, but that's what I like to talk about is, it's like having these moments of, that aha moment, in our life, even if it is just the extra chicken nugget or the onion ring. Man, I'm really hungry.
So in a way, Jesus invented fish and chips.
It's bread.
It's bread.
It's not potatoes.
That's true.
I mean, there could have been potatoes. You don't know.
Pita chips.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
it might have been unleavened anyway.
There you go.
It should have been.
It should have been.
Yeah. Should have been.
Should have been. But so the thing I was gonna say is, I'll keep this really brief. That's like a pattern throughout the Bible. You could be reading the Bible, you're like, these stupid people aren't listening to God. And then I'm just like, well, I can think of 7 areas in my life where I'm not doing it,
right.
Yeah.
And so,
right.
That seems to be a common theme throughout the Bible. Jesus does something amazing, and then the people are like, I don't know. Or God does something amazing, and the people are like,
well, so
maybe not.
The craziest one is the Jewish people are delivered out of the land of Egypt, right? And then Moses is like, all right, I'm going to go on this mountain. I'm going to go talk to God. Okay? And so he goes up on the mountain, and there's this light. Like they see it. They see the conversation. It's like clouds and light and fire going on. And they're like, oh, well, Moses is up there talking to God. And then the people get like they get tired of waiting.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, well, let's just like put our jewelry together and make a cow and then worship it.
Yeah.
And then Moses comes down and he's like, what are you guys doing? And his brother's like, oh yeah, this is the God that took us out of the land of Egypt. I'm just like,
yeah. Well, and see,
he got so mad he drops the 10 Commandments, has to go up and get another one.
Right. Now, to me, the funny thing about that story, and granted, it's not a funny story, but the funny thing about that story is when Moses is talking to Aaron, his brother, he's like, what did you guys do? And Aaron was the one who made the statue. But Aaron's answer to what did you guys do is like, we just threw a bunch of gold in the fire and this popped up. Like he just tried to like pass it off as like, oh, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
And, and then to see that God even made them, or actually, no, I don't remember if it was God told them to or if Moses just did it. But either way, Moses broke the altar down, or broke the idol down, ground it up, put it in their water, and every single person had to drink it. I was just like, that is like the greatest like little snap type thing,
I think the moral of today's podcast is be thankful for the little things and look for the little things to be thankful for, even in the bad things.
Yeah. Because I mean, no matter what you do, like I said, those little things.
Don't melt the little things down and then start worshiping.
Don't worship idols.
Not even Billy Idol.
You're modern people. Don't be dumb. And then again, I will say people are like, oh, stupid people back then worship their idols. Dude, you spend more time on your phone than they did praying to idols.
Yeah, we all have our own idol. It's different than what.
I think the idol of today is entertainment.
Yeah,
content. Yeah. And what do we sacrifice? Because you always sacrifice something to an idol. You sacrifice life. Well, what are you sacrificing to your device? All your time.
Yep.
Which is your life.
Yep.
So
yep.
You're still sacrificing your life to an inanimate object.
Just like the hour you just sacrificed listening to this podcast.
Well, no, because this is meaningful. Like we're with friends. We're fellowshipping. We're talking about deep, meaningful things. This is life and time well spent.
Yes.
Right.
And hopefully you've done this outside.
Yeah.
You have your earphones on, listening to it as you're walking in the park. Yeah. As you're jogging, enjoying nature, not, crouched in a a basement with the lights off. And
Yeah, well, I'll even listen to a podcast while I read sometimes.
see,
And some people can't do that, but I can do that, no problem.
I can't do that. It's weird because I can do that with like a TV show.
Sure.
I can do it with music. I cannot do it with a podcast because podcast is like talking as I'm trying to. I have I'm a kind of a slow reader anyway, so I have to.
I can't concentrate on more than one thing at once.
Yeah.
Well,
sometimes I can.
I'm also a slow reader. I just do it often, so I eventually fumble my way through stuff. But yeah.
So yeah, the small things. That's
all the.
Yeah, I was gonna say now
small
Dave can sing it as our outro if he wanted to.
No.
Copyright infringement
Say
here.
it ain't so.
But again, small things. I enjoy this. I think it is. Some people may think it's very trivial and meaningless, and I find joy in it because it gets it lets me hang out with you guys, even though I just see you most of the time. Now I get to.
I love you, Jonathan.
I'm taken. Sorry.
Dang it.
I'm.
As a friend, I meant it as a friend.
All I can think of now is what is it? It's black and white, and we're talking about like meaningless entertainment here. It's those black and white, like very short clip cartoons. They're on YouTube. You can see them all over TikTok. I can't remember. It's like ASF Film or something like that. But anyway, it's like one of them. The guy is like, "I love you," and then you see he's like talking to his refrigerator, and the refrigerator goes, "I have a boyfriend," and like starts like flipping out of the picture.
That's so funny.
Those little things right there. That's what gets me.
Yeah.
Especially because like you said, you can quote most of them as you're just like going through day-to-day life and you don't even realize it half the time.
Yeah.
So again, whether you're having a good day, bad day, especially if you're having a bad day, look for those little things to kind of help you get through, because again, the little things will mount up into something greater in your life. So I think we're about out of time, so I want to thank you guys for listening. I'm John.
I'm Dave.
And I'm Noah.
Have a great night.